likely would keep flapping back, poking at Daddy, crows are constant. He might eventually want to give in, just from weariness. So I'd take my cause to the pulpit, so to speak, and be sure every man, woman, and child I encountered in the holler knew I was already good for learning and in no need of schooling. Every critter path eventually leads to water, but for people, their ruts and roads seem to lead to salvation. Soon, we were calling halloos to the neighbors' neighbors, all headed toward their weekly reward. For plenty of folks, church, market days, and funerals is about the only times we see each other, but I knew not to look for Tully. He goes to his cousins every summer or whenever his daddy finds himself in trouble too deep. But Tully can't ever get far enough to quit his place in me. When I had chicken spots, he did too, and we played cards for 3 days and itched each other's scratches. Both of us ended up with a scar shaped like a carp on our left shoulders. Makes us battle brethren. I wished he was on duty with me now. It was like I was half myself, which should have felt half the sorrow, but that I seemed to have twofold. Not that Tully likely would have been along on any Sunday. His pa is like the prodigal son. Someday, Mr. Spencer will walk into church and preacher will call for the fatted calf. Till then, fall through spring, Tully works most Sundays at the distillery, which I might too if I wasn't in God's sight. The closer we got to church, the lousier the path got with the usual saints and sinners, what Mama called the blessed in their best and the blessed rest. Taking in the social swirl, I hummed to be sure I'd be in fine voice, but a whistle slipped out when I spotted a cloud of dust rolling up the road, trailing a bundle of brown on 2 wheels. When the dust cleared, what got my attention next was the short, wavy bob of brown hair under a brown felt hat. Most grown-up ladies I've ever seen wear their hair finger-curled or in a pug, like is natural. But I saw in a magazine that city girls and movie stars are getting boy haircuts, and I wanted one, thinking it'd be less bothersome than knots and tangles. What I truly wished for was a scalp mowing, like the Justice Boys get every spring, summer, and fall. Course, if wishes were matches, you could set the world afire. Mostly, I can't be bothered one way or t'other about hair any more than about shoes and feet. Mama used to fix mine. Daddy tried but once.
Hangman's noose, Possum,
he swore. Took him forever to fix those braids and an entire summer twilight to unfix. When I finally tore my stare from the new lady's hair, I fixed on her brown skirt and shirtwaist. Even her eyes blinked brown at the world. My eyes are brown too, like Daddy's, melted chocolate. Hers, though, looked like cedar, not the bark but the inside, at once warm and splintery. Brown Lady parked her bicycle and put right her hat, smiling at the crows flocked and fanning in the slim river of shade near the church steps. Course, Mama is the prettiest lady I've ever seen, including in picture shows, because those ladies don't have the wild roses of Mama's cheeks, or the smell of the lavender sachets she's sewed and planted around our house. Still, this lady looked, well, not painted like those movie stars, but not dried up and dusty like the ladies around here neither. I felt I knew what preacher meant by scales falling from my eyes. She seemed young and fresh-looking despite the dust along the hem of her skirt. As Brown Lady stepped forward, the crows folded in close, almost as if they thought the steps were a nest that needed protecting. I wanted to get closer. Any stranger is news, and any news is bound to blow something interesting with it. Truth, we don't get many strangers at our church of good endeavor and intention, and this one didn't look like any I'd seen. Surely a lady who looked so soft like that couldn't be so dangerous. Miss Nagy stepped forward the way I figured a missionary might face a pygmy. With righteousness in the heart, nothing in your face can give away what you might be feeling to see something so fearsome and strange. Though the biddy's face was stern as cracked earth, at her words the brown lady lit up like the 4th of July. I imagine Miss Nagy didn't know what to make of the stranger's damp forehead and perfect white teeth, much less the sight of her bicycle or her